Hello, this is the new episode of Online Audio Club, and today we have a reality check time, and we'll talk about concert volumes. We often hear that, and we think about it a lot, whether concert volume is achievable in our living room, and uh, and the answer for that is yes and no. You can have a concert-like experience in your living room, but it will not be at the same volume as it happens in a, in a, in a with an orchestra in a concert hall. So just look at this situation. This is like a full orchestra in a concert hall, and imagine them playing at full volume. Can you ever reproduce the exact same thing in your living room? No, not really. And why? So the problem is not the amplifiers, it's not the speakers. People have this idealistic belief that if you have speakers that can go up to 120 decibel per watt per meter uh, levels, or just plain 120 dB output, then you will have the same experience, the same loudness as you have at a concert hall, because in a concert hall um, the volumes go up to 120, actually can reach even 130 dB if you are playing with the musicians. There the volume can go up to 130. If you are sitting in the front row, then you have a 120 dB experience. And if you sit somewhere in the back, then it's kind of tricky, because then you will have the high frequencies and mid-range much lower than 120, but the deep bass is actually the strongest at the very back, because the long frequencies around like 20 hertz, the subsonics, they take up a very long space, and you are just too close to the stage to have them fully amplified. So actually the stage is big enough. The distance allows the formation of 20 Hz waves at the front seat, but with the design of the acoustics in a hall, you get an amplification for those low frequency sound waves up to the last row. So you will have the best bass there. So if you are going to, like for example, the showing of the Star Wars movie in the theater that we did, and we sat here at the very last row, and the bass and the sound effects are the best from there. So if you ever want to do that, check out Star Wars, then book a seat at the very back. It's the cheapest seat and the best sounding seat for movies. But going back to volumes, uh, when you are sitting here anywhere in the audience and the orchestra reaches 120 dB max, then it doesn't feel as if they are playing so loud. If you are used to the dB scale and measuring it in your own living room, when they hit 120, that's when you think it's probably about 85 dB, not even 90. It doesn't even feel 90 dB. It feels, it doesn't really feel loud. You feel a lot of power in it, but it's so relaxed, so spacious, and it does not hurt your ears at all. It's a very, very different experience compared to listening to loudspeakers. And it's because in a concert hall you have a continuous, unbroken air volume. So the space is not divided up. Like, for example, let's look at a living room. You have here a sofa, a coffee table, armchair, glass table, TV. You have glass windows, curtains, whatnot. Uh, so everything, all of those objects are like obstacles, really major big obstacles for the sound waves. So if you want to create high SPL in your room, that's going to interfere, and you are going to have major diffraction from these objects. And also look at the edges, so we have a lot of edge diffraction coming in from the corners and the edges of the room. And if you look at the concert hall, everything is round. You do not see a single flat line or straight line, and you don't see any 90 degrees angles. It's all designed to handle air, high air pressure, high volume. And when we look at it, a living room has about 1,000 times less air volume than a concert hall, and this translates to having about 1,000 times less capacity to handle air pressure. So when you are at a concert hall, the concert hall is capable to handle about 30 dB higher pressures than your living room. So when we look at 120 dB at a concert hall, the equivalent for that in your living room is 90 dB. So basically, the average living room handles 30 dB less air pressure than a concert hall. And if you buy those 120 dB capable speakers and you calibrate the sound level with your meter and you set it to peak at 120 dB, you'll have a very nasty, very disappointing experience. Because as you climb above 90 dB, it will not resemble anymore the sound that you can hear at a concert hall, but it will just gradually disintegrate into a cacophony of very obtrusive sounds. It will be really painful to listen to. It will not be the same relaxed experience that you experience in a concert hall, but it will be literally a torture. And that's not because there's any problem with your gear. So people in audio always want to fix all of the issues by getting better speakers, better amplifier. You have to change your deck, of course. But the issue in most cases is actually room acoustics. And when people try to break barriers such as who can play louder at home, then the greatest barrier to that is your room acoustics. And unless you have a gigantic hall, you cannot play loud without having painful results. And even if you have a gigantic room, it needs to have concert hall acoustics. If you just have a rectangular big room, that's going to be really echoey, very bad sounding, and you have to spend a lot of money to to make it listenable. So just as a comparison, the air behaves as a shock absorber. Imagine that you are landing an airplane, and the shocks of the airplane handle the weight, the full weight of the airplane. And now you are trying to do a stunt with your dirt bike, and then you do a jump, and when it lands, it handles the pressure of the weight of the bike and the weight of your body. Now this is the analogy of having the concert at an orchestra versus a reproduction in your living room. So this is what a concert hall can handle, the weight of an airplane. And this is what your room can handle, the weight of a dirt bike. If you want to put the weight of a dirt bike, the weight of an airplane on a dirt bike, that will result in catastrophe. And the same thing goes if you want to play 120 dB in your living room. I hope this little educational material helped you to so that you do not crank the volume to 11 at home, reserve it for concert halls, just back it up to 8 or 9, maybe 7, and take care of your ears and enjoy listening to music for a long, long time.